Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Sunday Night Purge Call, and thank you so much for joining us and spending your Sunday evening with us. We want to make sure you get your week started off right and on the right foot. As I said earlier, this is Senior Consultant Michelle Schaefer, and we truly believe that this call is a silver bullet to build your business, giving you structure and helping you make sure that you take 30 to 45 minutes a day to get the simple things we need to get done in this business done. So please have your calendars open, a pen and a pad handy, your list of 10 contacts, and work right alongside with Richard and his victim. No worries if you can't write fast enough. All the calls are going to be recorded and posted to our EC Writers Facebook page, and that's EC Writers, as in Executive Consultant Writers. And the call will be posted there so you can listen to it at your leisure. I'm going to go ahead and introduce our host without any further ado. If you are not familiar with this gentleman, Richard is an executive consultant in our business. He's been in the business about 6.5 years. He is a 5-star trip earner. He is also a businessman in his own right. He owns a music box company. He also has several Dickey's Barbecue restaurants. He had a graphic design business several years ago that he sold for, I believe, a few $1 million. So he is very well versed in business. He also is one of the most creative and talented people I know. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce my dear friend and mentor, Mr. Richard Laidler. Richard, are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me, my lovely?
I can hear you.
Fantastic. Are you sick and tired of baseball now?
Oh, I'm not sick and tired. We're not even done yet.
Oh, really? I know you've had a weekend full with your big son about with his baseball and stuff. I know he had a great weekend, so congratulations to Ryan and stuff. But let's crack on with the call, Michelle. As always, thank you very much for emceeing the call. Very much appreciated. Very grateful for you taking the time out to do that for us. And for those of you on the call, we have some regular visitors, and welcome back, and it's lovely to hear from you again. And I know we have some brand new MCs on the call because I know that some brand new MCs joined my team, and they're on the call, and I'm sure that there are some others. Yeah, welcome, guys, to you. Congratulations. Reach over with your right hand over your left shoulder, pat yourself on the back and say, well done me for taking the time out to invest probably the best hour of your Ambit week, because what we're going to do on this call is plan your week. For all of the calls that are out there, and there are some wonderful team calls from various people around the States, they're very often about, bringing a special guest on. They talk about how they built their business and this type of thing. This is a lot more functional. This is a lot more about what do I need to do in my business on Monday morning when I get up. I'm busy. I'm in my job. I've got to take the kids to school. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. How do I fit the time in for my Ambit business? And why should I be bothered to do that? What's the reason for doing that? So that's what this call is all about. Bottom line, in Ambit, we do two simple things. We gather a handful of customers. We help others do the same thing. Specifically, a handful of customers initially when you first get started. We're getting ourselves 2 customers in Texas and 3 customers outside Texas within the first 28 days of getting started. And then we help 3 people do the same thing. 3 people who want to make a change to their lives, 3 people who want to fire their boss, get a new vacation, spend more time with their kids, whatever it is. But 3 people who want to invest $75, the same amount of money they'd probably spend on taking their wives to the Outback for the weekend, just to have a steak or whatever, to start a business that can change their lives. And once you've done that, got yourself a couple of customers, you've qualified yourself, and then you have your 3 consultants, then you just learn to duplicate the same thing. Okay, why do you do that? So you've got your 3, right? You've got your 2 customers, so you qualified, and you got your $100 back. So my restaurants, as Michelle was talking about, they were $300,000 to get started. So it took me 5 years to get my money back. But in this business, we can get the money back within a week. And here's what's ironic for those of you who know my story. My Ambit business actually out-earns 2 of my Dickey's Barbecue restaurants. The Dickey's Barbecue restaurants are $300,000 each to get started. This business is $75. Wish I'd known about Ambit before I bought the Dickey's Barbecue restaurants. But hey, it is what it is. Nothing wrong with that. But basically, if we got ourselves qualified, we find our 3, and those are 3 people who are like us, motivated people who want to make a difference in their lives, and teach them to do the same thing. So we got 3 people getting 3 people. And then we teach them how to do the same thing. It's all about duplication, duplication, duplication. For those of you who are new in this business will hear nothing but that from your upline, cross-line trainings, ambitions, regional trainings. It's all about duplicating yourselves to create leverage. So you're not doing all the work. The numbers are doing the work. Okay, so if we have 3 getting 3, getting 3, getting 3, getting 3, getting 3, getting 3, that's 7 levels down, over $11,000 in passive residual income coming in every month, whether you work or not. For most of those people on the call, I would imagine that's more than enough. That's plenty for me. I'll take it. And that's just the residual part. On top of that, you're making all of the jumpstart bonuses as well. And heck, even if everybody just couldn't be bothered to earn their $100 back and all they did was get one customer themselves and nobody else, that's still over $5,000 a month in residual income of 3 people getting 3 people getting 3 people just signing themselves up as a customer. Is it worthwhile doing? Oh, yes, it is. It's very simple to do what we do. Very simple to do right, very simple to do wrong, and even simpler not to do at all. And so that's what this call is all about. For all of that good news that I talked about at the beginning, the majority of people are going to quit this business because they can't find the success. Not because they can't do it, but we help people save money on an electricity bill. We help people find a way of getting out of their job. It's not that we can't do it, it's that people don't do it and they don't show up. So this call is about helping you keep the main thing, i.e. gathering customers, helping other people do the same thing, and putting all the noise and everything else that you hear to one side. Now, I'm not saying that noise isn't important. The other team calls, the motivations, hearing people's stories, that's all about building your why and fueling you to do what you need to do. But this call is about keeping the main thing, the main thing. You'll hear our CEO, Jerry Thompson, always talking about that. Keep the main thing, the main thing. There's a lot of people out there in the Ambit business, certainly not on this call, of course, and all they do is they turn up to the business presentations. They feel that they're busy. They feel that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, but going to a business presentation, going to a team call is not going to make you any money. It's going to get you some information. It's going to make you feel good about yourself. It's going to make you feel that maybe you're doing something, but you're not doing what's going to earn you money. That's gathering a handful of customers and helping other people do the same thing. So when we get started, we just get ourselves qualified with 2 Texas customers, 3 customers outside Texas, then help 3 people just like ourselves with a plan, getting themselves a plan B and a way out, et cetera, to do the same thing. And then we plug them into this same system, duplication, okay? All right, so how do we do that? Well, let's look at what we've been successful at before. Everybody on the call probably graduated high school. And for most of us, probably held down a job. Okay, now bear in mind what high school is. 10 solid years of 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., maths, physics, chemistry, biology, geography, what's osmosis, Shakespeare, et cetera, yet we all graduated. Okay, that's much, 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 much harder than what we do in our Ambit business. Gather a couple of customers, help other people do the same thing. Yet, when I do the big trainings, when I ask who graduated high school, most of the hands go up. And so why can people, succeed in school and yet they find it hard to succeed in an Ambit business? It's basically 2 simple things. Number 1, you had to show up. You had to show up to school. And secondly, if you didn't, you were sent to the principal. So there was basically some accountability. There were actions. There were things that happened to you if you didn't turn up. The problem is, in Ambit, it's easy not to show up. And you are your boss, so it's easy not to do. And if you don't do what you're supposed to do in this business, you won't have the little bits of success that we need to get us going, and you'll probably quit. And that's the reason why most of the numbers in network marketing in general, that's the reasons why the numbers are so high. It's not because massive rejection or because I don't know what to do. It's because usually in most cases, people don't do what they're supposed to do. And it's not because in most cases people are lazy. It's because they're busy doing their job, making sure the kids get to school, making sure they pick them up, making sure all of those things that are busy in our lives. And what we do is we rely on finding spare time to do our Ambit business. And if you're going to do a spare time Ambit business, you're probably not going to find success and turn your websites off right now because you're wasting your time and wasting your money. So this call is basically addressing that. It's giving you the ability to look at your crazy busy week, find some slots in that time to make sure you do the simple things we need to do to build a business. It's not very much work, but it needs to get done. This call puts the environment in place for you and basically helps you show up to work. It helps you treat your Ambit business with the same respect as you treat your job and you treat your school, and it adds in the accountability. And so instead of your Ambit week starting with, I really should do something with my Ambit business this week and hope for the spare time to do it, you basically start your week with, I know what I'm doing this week. I know who I'm calling on Monday. I know who I'm calling on Tuesday. I've got an accountability call every day put into my calendar. I know I'm going to get things done. Now, I'm going to ask you to give me a little bit, like 1 or 2 minutes of time here, because I'm going to segue something a little controversial this week into this. I want you to know about this, and I want you to think about this, because in the promo piece I put together on my Facebook post, I mentioned that you can build your business at 4 different speeds, and 3 of them will work and 1 of them won't. So we've covered the one that won't work, but this is contrary to most trainings, and certainly contrary to the training that I had when I first got started. When I first got started, all I heard from the leaders was, the only way to build your Ambit business is with massive positive action. Massive positive action. You're talking to a businessman here who's got 2 restaurants to run, a music business to run, plus all of the other things, and everybody on this call has got equally busy things to do. And when one talked to me about massive positive action, that actually had a bit of a negative effect on me. I was thinking, massive positive action? What does that really mean? What have I got to do? I just don't have time. And does that mean that I can't succeed? And let me tell you, that is absolutely one of the speeds at which you can build your business, and absolutely you can be successful. And absolutely, if you do take massive positive action on your business, you will probably be one of the most successful. But most of us have a very busy life. And if you think that the only way to build it is massive positive action, it's a little overwhelming. And in many cases, it's actually not doable. And so here are the 4 speeds to build an Ambit business. In my personal opinion, this is an opinion. I know we've got other ECs on the call, Paul and Lisa Easton. I know you're on the call as well, and I'm not sure where you stand on this, but this is my personal opinion. Okay, so a disclaimer here. For everybody on the call, do plug into your upline, do plug into your ECs for their views on this thing. But this is my personal one, and hey, this is my call, so I'm going to let you know what I think. There are 4 ways. Okay, number 1 is part-time. Number 2 is 30 to 60 minutes a day. Number 3 is massive positive action. And number 4 is spare time. We've already agreed that spare time is not going to work. So you can build a business with part-time, 30 to 60 minutes a day, and massive positive action. So we're going to cut out spare time. If you're only going to rely on spare time, turn your websites off. You're not going to be successful in this business. You're wasting your $24.95, and you're basically going to feel guilty the whole time because you'll be thinking, I really should be doing something in my Ambit business, but you never find the spare time to do it. And so here we go. So we've relegated spare time. All right. So now what we're going to do? So here's the reason why I know the other ones can work. I got to EC and financial freedom on part-time. The other 3 efforts, part-time, and then speed it up to 30 to 60 minutes a day, and massive positive actions. Out of those 3, the slowest way to build it is with part-time. And I got to EC with part-time effort. And EC with financial freedom. That means that all of my bills are paid, my necessary bills. So not necessarily vacations and this type of thing, but my mortgage, my insurance, my cars, and this type of thing was covered by my residual income because of part-time effort. And so I want to dispel this feeling that the only way to have success in this business is to have massive positive action. I think there are two speeds that you can go that are more realistic for many people on this call. Again, for other ECs that are out there, I completely respect your opinions on this, and for your teams and this type of thing, make sure that you enlighten them on your thoughts, but that's mine, and it's a reality for me. Part-time effort got me to EC. Now, here's the deal. It took me 4 years to get there. Now, 4 years is relatively slow in Ambit. For those people, there are people getting to EC, and I mean, we had Miguel de Siqueira, executive consultant. He got to EC in like 8 months, in less than 12 months, because he puts massive positive action. He had a very ill son. He had a massive wife, put massive positive action in, and got there within, the 12-month period. Incredible leader. I got there slower than him. I didn't have the time. I didn't have a stronger why, but I still got there. This isn't a race, and I don't want folks to think the only way is massive positive action. The other one, so we've got massive positive action and part-time. The one in the middle, and that's the one that we use on this purge call, the one in the middle is basically the 30 to 60 minutes a day. And with that level of effort, now, I do have a proviso here, by the way, that the proviso is that you follow the Ambit system and you still do it. I'm not saying part-time effort and not following the system and not showing up on time when you're supposed to be showing up to do your business. You still won't find success at any level if you don't follow the system and if you don't show up when you're supposed to show up. So, part-time, 30 to 60 minutes a day, massive positive action, make sure you're still following the system. Now, here's the deal. On the purge call, I think that's going to help the majority of people, those people with jobs, families, commitments, et cetera, but still want to make a change in their lives and reach financial freedom in their Ambit business so they can quit the jobs, get rid of the debt, buy the new car, whatever your why is, and to do it in shorter period of time than I did. The 30 to 60-minute option will get you there just the same way as I did, but probably in half the time. I would suggest that if you diligently follow the Ambit system, work 30 to 60 minutes a day, doing what we do on our purge call, you are going to get to financial freedom and executive consultant in less time than I did, maybe even as fast as half the time as I did. Okay, so there's the 4 speeds. Spare time, forget it. Part-time, perfectly good. Just know what you're doing in that part-time effort. The 30 to 60 minutes a day, which I'm going to cover in a second, and then massive positive action, and that's what Miguel de Siqueira does, and we'll talk about that on maybe one of the team calls about what you could do for massive positive action. But I believe I'm speaking to the majority who, with the right system in place, can do 30 to 60 minutes a day. So what do we do on this call? And thank you, by the way, for giving me another 5 minutes to kind of do an introduction to what we do on this call, because I believe it's important. I believe it's people on this call who are finding it hard to find the time to get done what they need to do, or are clouded with all the noise that's going on in this business. I think it's really important that someone just says it. Someone spells it out, that there are 3 perfectly justifiable ways to build this business. You'll get there faster or you'll get there slower, but you'll get there. Okay, so what do we do on the purge call? What we do is we work with our 30 to 60 minutes. Okay, what do we do first of all? First of all, we get an accountability partner. We've got to have that someone who represents the principal at school. Remember, you couldn't not turn up to school because the principal's sitting there in her office waiting for you to go in and see her. So we need to replace that. We need an accountability partner. That accountability partner can be your upline, your sponsor, whatever. It can also be cross-line. I have a lot of people on this call that have cross-line accountability partners. We also rely on a written list. Now, in my part-time business, I did have a written list, but most of my business was relying on a reactive invite, where I'd hear some pain and I'd say, hey, listen, I may have something that'll help you out. Take a look at what I'm doing. It's a much slower way to build the business, but the written list was less important. I still had one, but it was less important. But when you're doing a solid, structured 30 to 60 minutes a day, got to have the written list. Written list is absolutely central to what we do. What we've got, once we've got our written list put together, we sort the written list. We give it some kind of level of importance. Everybody on the written list is going to get called, but we want all the good people to rise to the top. Like the cream in the milk, we want the best part to rise to the top. And so we do that using what we call an ERICA system, which is just a super, super simple way of scoring that person on our list. The ERICA is an acronym for entrepreneurial. How entrepreneurial are they? Score them 1 out of 3. 3 being the highest, 1 being the lowest, and 1 being less entrepreneurial than you, and 3 being more entrepreneurial than you. And if it's a 2, it's about the same as where you are. Entrepreneurial is the E. Resourceful is the R. How resourceful are they? Are they the type of person to sit back and just let things happen to them, or are they the type to go out there and get things done? The I is influence. How much influence do they have? If they're like super, super social, give them a 3. If they're a quiet librarian who doesn't know anybody, give them a 1. C is for city. Are they local? Are they in DFW? Are they in Houston? I'd give them a 2. 1, I'd give them, so DFW, I'd give them a 1. Houston, I'd give them a 2. And out of state, I'd give them, have I got that right? No. DFW, I'll give them a 3. I'm sorry. So they're local. That's a high score. We want them to come to the top because they're the simplest to work with. I'm not going to not work with the other ones. It's just easier when you can, be face-to-face with them. 2 would be someone like Houston, where it's a bit of a drive to go and see them. And the 1 would be out of state. Someone up in New York, again, they're still going to get a call, but they're going to get a call after the people who are local. And the A is attitude. And that's the only one I have a 0 for. If I've got someone who's a 0, you know what? I'm probably not even going to call them. If someone's a dream stealer, negative Nelly, just someone who's like trying to constantly bring you down, and there's about 20% of folks who are out there like that, I'm giving them a 0, and they may not even get a call from me. But that's okay. Remember, we only need 3. Okay, so we've got our accountability partner, we've got our written list, and now we've sorted it. All the good people have risen to the top because obviously there's ERICA is 5, right? There's 5 letters, and you can get a 3 for each of those 5. So all of the 15s will rise to the top, then the 14s, 13s, 12s, et cetera, et cetera. Once we've got that done, then on Sunday, the beginning of your week, today, which is what we're going to do on this call, we're going to get the top 10 names from our list, the top 10 names that rose to the top, and then we're going to, with your accountability partner, we're going to prepare the perfect invites, and that's what we're going to do on this call. Once the invites are written down, once the invites are prepared, we're going to write them down. Make sure that they're written down on a piece of paper. Reason being is sometimes when you're a bit nervous, if you've just got started, you can tend to waffle. You can get taken off track, or the other person starts talking. If it's written down in front of you, it's not a script necessarily you're going to read, but it keeps you on track. It keeps you going with what you're supposed to be doing. So you've got your accountability partner. You've got your written list. It's now scored using the ERICA system. You've got invites done. They're written down. And then Monday through Friday, we're going to do 2 invites a day. Now, that's not necessarily 2 calls a day. You might need to go through 5 of your names to get to 2 people to actually invite them. We're going to do 2 invites a day. Excuse me, Monday through Friday. And then Monday through Friday, we're also going to do 1 accountability call to your accountability buddy, which I think is kind of a cool name. My son, Max, said that he heard that in a movie, accountability buddy, and I kind of like that. That's the person who's basically your sponsor, your upline, your crossline, whatever it is. And then the next Sunday, which we're going to do next Sunday, we're going to go through our week. We're going to go through the invites, the yeses. We're going to plug them into the system, make sure we get them started right, make sure we get them their first 2 customers, get them $100 back in, and plug them into this same system. The no's we're going to purge, hence why this is called the PURGE system. We're going to purge them, give them a call in anywhere from 3 to 6 months from now. And then the maybes, we're just going to get them validated. We're going to get them to a business presentation. We're going to get them on a 3-way call with their upline. We're going to get a Success from Home magazine in front of them, or whatever it is to get them to a yes or a no. Again, we don't try and convince anybody on this call. We merely show them what we do, and they will either do it or they won't. I like people to buy the business from me, not me sell it to them. If I'm selling it to them, if you feel as you're speaking, you're selling, you're doing it wrong. You just want to give them the information. The right people will buy it from you, okay? And so now we've purged our list, all right? The yeses are plugged in, the nos are purged, and the maybes are plugged into whatever next event they need to make a yes or a no. So we've got a nice, clean plate for next week for our next top 10 names that are on our list. Really simple. 10 names each week, week after week after week after week. And you will eventually get to a situation when you will have 3 people join your business. I mean, just to give you an example, if you're making 10 good invites a week, You're plugged into a good accountability partner who's going to take care of you. You're following the system. You more than likely are going to have 3 consultants in your business within a couple of months if you're doing it right. If you're not, it may take longer than that. But that's the point. If you're doing it right and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing with your written list, 2 invites a day, doing the accountability call, it'll take you a couple of months, but you'll get 3 people into your business. But because you're getting those 3 people plugged back in, it's going to take them 2 months to get their 3 as well. So now you're 4 months into the business, but your 3 have got their 3. And then you've got those 3 getting their 3, which is another 2 months down the business. If you're duplicating right, there's no reason why this can't work. So it's 2 months, 2 months, 2 months, 2 months, 2 months, 7 times, so if it takes 2 months to get the 3, each level is taking 2 months to get their 3, so that's 14 months to get to the 7th level. Now, that may be a little optimistic because obviously some people are falling out or whatever, but it gives you an idea. If you do this system right and you make sure you duplicate properly and you plug everybody into the same calls that you're doing, the same system you're doing, there's absolutely no reason. The numbers say that each 2 months, 3 people are getting their 3, are getting their 3, are getting their 3. Just to kind of, I'm just throwing that out there because on the 7th level, we know that's where the 11,500 is waiting for you. All right, so that being said, now you know what the PURGE system is. I'm actually going to work with someone on this call. It's taking me a little longer to go through this. I understand that. So we're going to go really quickly with our victim this week, and we're going to, if we don't get through all the invites, I'm going to do some of the other invites on the accountability calls, because whilst this call is being recorded, so are the accountability calls that I'm going to be doing with my victim / guest or whatever on this call. I'm going to be recording those, and I'll be doing some other invites and how to put the invites together on those calls as well. So I'm going to bring our guest on. This is a very special and dear friend of mine. She's working the business very hard. She's a regional consultant in our business, and I'm going to bring her on the call right now. Regional consultant Sydnee Shorten, are you there, my lovely?
I am. Thank you so much.
Fantastic, and I can stop talking. I was going a million miles an hour there. So, all right. Well, thank you very much for allowing me to have you as my victim this week. It's really awesome, and it's wonderful actually to have someone actually on my team to work with. Usually I'm working with people who are not in my team, but hey, that's not the point of the call, but it's great this week to be working on someone in my team. But Sydney, I would think that most people on this call, we have a lot of people on the call from all around the country, won't know who you are. So could you give us a quick, like 1 or 2 minutes, just tell us just a little bit about, who you are. I certainly wouldn't ask a lady to let me know how old she is, but maybe what, kind of decade you were kind of born in, just to kind of give an idea of where you are, whether you're married, whether you're single, whether you have kids, whether you don't have kids, whether you're employed, not employed, just to give people a feeling of where you are.
Absolutely. Well, my name is Sydney, and I am mid-30s, single parent of 2 wonderful boys, 2 teenagers, and I have a full-time job in human resources, and I do the Ambit part-time, and
cool.
I am looking forward to this call. It's kind of nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I know, and this is the thing. Most people, in fact, hey, listen, I completely understand, but don't worry, I will take care of you. There'll never be a situation where I put you in an awkward situation. But more important than that, I also don't mind if things go wrong. In fact, I like it if things go wrong, because it's usually what happens for real. A lot of people think they've got to be perfect on the call. They've got to get it right. They've got to get it right. But that's not what happens in reality. I want it during the week when something goes wrong, because then I can coach people on how to deal with that as an accountability partner for someone who's struggling during the week. So we have super slick weeks, we have disaster weeks, but they're all fantastic coaching opportunities. So don't worry about that. Now, you've already sent me your top 10 list, so we don't need to go through the names as to who they are. I've got them right now. But let's get started straight away with Courtney. Tell me a little bit about Courtney. How old is she? Is she married? She got kids? Or what's going on there?
Courtney is married, no kids, and she's in her mid-30s. She's currently a travel agent and looking for another opportunity.
Okay, how do you know she's looking for another opportunity?
Because she let me know that she gave her 2-week notice.
Oh, that's looking for another opportunity.
At her current employer. So,
okay,
I would like
good deal. Well, that's great. It's nice to start with a nice, relatively simple one. We're going to apply 6 guidelines to each invite, and the reason why we do, there are many ways to invite, and there are many people who coach on YouTube as to how to invite, and I'm certainly not saying this is the only way to invite, but this is the way we invite in our Purge call. We have 6 guidelines. Reason being why we have the guidelines, again, remember what I said was most important is being able to duplicate. And so what we have on the guidelines, we used to have 5, now we have 6. I added 1 just to make things a little clearer, but number 1 is always being in a hurry, and you'll hear that from most people who are coaching. Number 2 is your why you're doing the business, and maybe if you know their why, like you know Courtney's why, we'll talk about that. Number 3 is a hook. You know, you got a brand new business project started you're really excited about. That's the hook. You're kind of baiting the hook a little bit. Number 4 is the new one, is the purpose of the call. The reason why I'm calling you is a couple of reasons. First of all, this, and then first of all that, and we'll get that into a second, get onto that in a second. The 5th is a takeaway. Listen, Courtney, it may or may not be your cup of tea, and that's perfectly fine. That relaxes her, but it also it protects you for if she rejects you and says, no, this isn't something for me. You can always say, well, you know what, remember when I invited you, I said it's not for everybody, and that's perfectly fine. It's a great way to get the power back and help you emotionally in this business. And then number 6 is being really intentional about setting the date. So in Courtney's case, I would imagine you know her pretty well, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, here's how I would invite her. First of all, I'd give her a call and say, hey, Courtney, listen, I'm in a little bit of a hurry. I've got to get the boys to school, but I've been meaning to give you a call. Do you have a quick couple of minutes? And hopefully she'll say yes. And you can say, listen, obviously both the boys are getting to college age right now. It's a few years away, but I've got to make sure I have the money together for college. So I started a business project that I'm working part-time right now, but it's basically going to allow me to have both of them through college without any college debt at all. And I have to say I'm really excited about it. And I'm calling you for a couple of reasons. First of all, I just want to let everybody know what I'm doing. Because, you know, in any business, we've got to make sure we create awareness. But secondly, and more importantly, I know you're looking for options right now. And I'm not saying this is necessarily going to be the answer, but it's a potential option for you. So I thought the best thing to do is to show you what I'm doing. Now, again, it may or may not be your cup of tea, and that's perfectly fine, Courtney. But let's grab coffee after lunch, after work today, like 5:30. I know there's a Starbucks just around the corner from you. Let me show you what I'm doing and see if it makes sense for you. Okay, so did you see how I went through all those 6 guidelines? It's not a super short invite. I understand that. But it's very well constructed, and now having done this Purge call for a year and a half, it has massive success because, number 1, you're in a hurry, so you're not going to get trapped in doing a presentation on the call. Number 2, you're mentioning your why. Courtney knows you have 2 boys probably. I'm assuming she does, and they're going to be going into college, and you're going to get through college without college debt. So she's going to be now listening with her heart and not her ears, right? So now she's listening in a different way. You're excited about the business, the hook. So I got a new business project started. I use the word project, not opportunity, because business opportunity has a little bit of stigma attached to it. So we kind of brush that one away under the carpet. We don't like that. So we started a new business. I started a new business project that's working really, really well for me in the DFW area, and is going to have both my boys through college without any college debt. That's a hook. That's a real hook. Then we did the purpose. Purpose number 1 is I want you to know what I'm doing. In any business, we need to, like in my restaurants, I invited my friends around to come and try the food. Hey, it's Dickie's Barbecue. They know what it tastes like, but I still wanted to come and try it. So I want everybody to know what I'm doing. But secondly, I know you're looking for options. So I wanted you to take a look at what I'm doing. Number 5, the takeaway. Listen, Courtney, it may or may not be your thing, and that's perfectly fine. Again, that keeps her relaxed, but it also protects you if she rejects you and you say, you know, I remember I said it's not for everybody, and that's perfectly fine. And then we were really intentional about setting the time. So that's what I would do for Courtney. I'm sure, I don't know if you managed to get that all written down while I'm talking to you on the phone, but I will get this recording up as quickly as I can tonight. so that you can listen to that and get that written down. But that's how I would invite Courtney. Would you do you agree with that? Do you feel comfortable, uncomfortable with it? Do you have any thoughts on that?
No, I definitely agree with it. It's more reactive.
Right, you're addressing some pain that she has right now. She's looking for something new, and so here you are offering help. You're not pitching someone a business, you're offering help, and that's the mindset that you need to have for this. So that's awesome. All right, so that's Courtney done. Who else have we got on our list next? Grace. Tell me about Grace.
Grace is a nurse. She works the midnight shift at a hospital, and she also, during the daytime, she does media, social media, like newscast type stuff.
Okay. Is she married?
I don't
kid?
know her.
How old?
She is early 50s, no longer married. She does have grown children that do not live with her, and she's very business-minded.
Do you know of any pain she may have? Has she ever mentioned to you, well, I work too much or whatever?
No.
Okay. All right. In which case, I'm going to take a guess at what she may be thinking, because I'm 50. I'm thinking she's thinking, okay, I'm in my early autumn years, or as you Americans say, early fall years. How's that? Pretty good American accent or not? Not good.
No.
Okay. You know what I mean by autumn, right? So we're getting a little older, and when we're in our 50s, we're thinking about, I've got to make sure that I have enough money for retirement. This girl's early 50s. She's working the midnight shift as a nurse and doing social media newscaster. I think she's hustling. I think she's hustling to make the money that she needs, and I would be fairly direct with this. So I would be fairly similar to Courtney. So I would again say, hey Grace, Sydney here. I'm a little bit of a hurry. I've got to, whatever it is, I've got to get back into work. Just get to the end of my lunch break. But I've been meaning to give you a call. Do you have a couple of minutes? And she'll say yes. You say, well, look, as you know, I've got a couple of boys that are going to be going to college literally within a couple of years, and I've got to make sure that I have the college funds earned for them, and my job currently is not going to do that for me. So I started a new business project in the DFW area that's working really, really well for me, and it's going to have them both through college without college fees, and I'm super excited about it. And I was giving you a call actually for a couple of reasons. So here's the purpose. This is a new one that I added in the guidelines. First of all, I just want you to know what I'm doing. Again, any business needs to get its exposure and networking and this type of thing. I'd love you to see what I'm doing. But secondly, listen, Greg, I know you're working the midnight shift and you have, the social media business. So obviously you're working super hard. And I know with, at the age that you are, obviously got to be delicate. You're a woman, she's a woman, so you don't have to be quite as delicate as I would have to be if I'm talking to her. I know with early 50s, you may be thinking about, possibly retirement around the corner. And I want you to take a look at what I'm doing, because I think if this is going to help my kids get through college, this will definitely help you get some really strong retirement together for you. Listen, I don't know if it's going to be your thing or not, Grace, but what are you doing after work on Friday? I know there's a Starbucks just around the corner. I know there's the hotel, the Mandalay Hotel around the corner, the lobby there. Serve a great cup of coffee. Why don't we get together? I show you what I'm doing and see if it makes sense. Again, it's just nice and gentle. See if it makes sense for you. You are very positive about the time. Let's get together. So very definite about the time, but you're still kind of low-key about, you're excited about it, but low-key about her necessarily joining. May or may not be your thing. See if it makes sense, those types of phrases. So, again, we stuck to the guidelines perfectly on that one, being in a hurry, using your why, having the hook, the purpose, creating, you want to expand people knowing about what you're doing, but it may actually, if it's going to pay the college fees for you, then it may get her retirement together. Listen, so there's the purpose. Listen, it may or may not be your cup of tea, the nice takeaway, so she's relaxed, and you've got the protection if she refuses you, and you say, listen, and it's not necessarily for everybody, and that's perfectly fine. And then the really intentional, what are you doing after work on Friday? Let's show you what I'm doing and see if it makes sense. Or if you can't make Friday just after church, and you're going to go to church on Sunday, so like 1 o'clock on Sunday, Again, there's a coffee shop right there in the church. We could get together and have coffee there, and again, I'll show you what I'm doing. So again, we're following the 6 guidelines, but that's absolutely the way I would invite Grace. I don't know if you agree. You know Grace better than I do, but that feels right to me. How do you feel about it?
Yes. I think that is great. We'll just have to coordinate our schedule since she works while I sleep and vice versa.
Yeah, I can't help you on that one. You're going to have to work on that one yourself, but you're a grown-up. You're a big girl. You can do it.
I guess I'll be staying up late.
Well, it could be. It is what it is. But as far as tying down the time, this type of thing, we can talk about that off the call, and we can get that done for some ideas about how to do that. But anyway, we're at 8:41. We're doing well. Okay, let's talk about Alex. Tell me a little bit about Alex. Is it a girl or guy? Is he married, kids, age, that type of thing?
Mm-hmm. Alex is a single guy in his upper 20s. He has a passion for athletes. He's a former football player, and he currently he helps his father with his father's business, which is a moving truck business, in addition to he does insurance, and his focus is helping athletes get financially free and set.
How does he do that?
Through the insurance products. So he teaches them, and during their off seasons, he may even recruit some of them to be insurance agents.
What company is he insurance with? Who's he with?
I want to say it's World Financial.
Are they a network marketing business?
I think insurance is kind of set up like network marketing. I
think some are, some aren't. So that adds a bit of a wobbly here. Not a reason not to do it. Here's the thing. Here's one thing. If Alex was working for a competitive network marketing business in the energy industry, don't go recruit him, because that's just it's just inappropriate. Now, I know other people are trying to do that with our company, but we take the high road. Everybody on this call and everybody I know in Ambit is looking to elevate the network marketing industry. So no, we're not going to do what they're doing. That being said,
right.
We're not going to go out there and trying to steal people away from other network marketing companies. However, if there's an opportunity for synergy, then that's perfectly fine. And I do have people in our business. Some Primerica people are in our business. Some Legal Shield people are in our business. We don't have competitive products. But, hey, if you can save money on an electricity bill, wouldn't it be great if you can put it into a life insurance product?
Right.
Or into a legal product? So there's synergy there. So I would approach Alex on the potential synergy between his business and your business. Okay?
Correct.
Does that make
That's
sense?
what I was thinking. Yeah.
There you go.
That's
See, look how smart you are. Do you want to have a go at putting the invite together, or am I putting you on the spot? Sounds like I'm putting you on the spot. So first of all, what we want to be in a hurry. So what kind of thing might you say to be in a hurry?
I let Alex know all the time I'm in a hurry.
Because the thing is, Sydney, you usually are. You don't have to make it up.
I'm like,
you're always in a hurry.
I'm in a hurry, but I just want to say hi.
Right, okay, cool. Well, first of all, also you have to be aware that he is a young single guy and you are a single woman. So just have it in the back of your mind that you do need to keep this, as business-like as possible, because some of us guys are a bit stupid and hopeful.
Oh, yeah, Alex and I have been friends for about 4 years.
Okay. In which case,
yes.
You're safe. You're safe.
Yeah.
But for those of you who are listening on the call, right, absolutely. But for those of you listening on the call, guys who are calling girls, like if I'm inviting someone, I'll sometimes say my wife and I. My wife and I have started a new business project, just because it then lets them know this is nothing. Like if I was calling you, Sydney, I mean, there you are. You're a beautiful mid-30s woman, and I'm a guy, and I'm calling you. Sometimes that can feel inappropriate. But if I said, hey, listen, I wanted to get together. My wife and I have started a new business project. You immediately know that I don't have any bad intentions. I'm talking about my wife and I. And so that's kind of a little trick just to keep things appropriate. It is what it is. It's just one of those things. So in Alex's case, be in a hurry. Hey, listen, Alex, I'm in a little bit of a hurry right now, but listen, I wanted to chat to you about something real quick. Have you got a second? Now, again, now let's talk about the why. What why would you use? Would you use the fact that the boys are going to college, do you think?
Yeah, I would definitely use that, and probably cater to, my oldest son, Isaac, is an athlete as well, since that's what Alex's passion is helping athletes. So I would probably drop that in. He wants to play football and go to college and then kind of transition it.
Okay, yeah. Be careful to keep the main thing on this. Yes, there is some synergy there, and I think it's a good idea to say, drop the fact that he's an athlete in your why, but we don't want to confuse the invitation. So. Listen, Alex, I'm a little bit of a hurry right now, but I've been meaning to give you a call this week. Do you have a couple of minutes? Yeah, and he'll say, yeah, sure, no problem. You say, well, obviously the kids are, getting towards college age, and Isaac particularly, wants to get into athletic college. I don't know the right language, so forgive me. I ain't from around these parts. I'm not sure how you would phrase that, but you'll know how to phrase that. And you're still talking about the kids wanting to get into college and stuff, so that'll relate just there. And then go into the hook, which is, so I recently started a business project that's working super well for me in the DFW area, and it's going to make sure both of them get all the way through college, whether he gets an athletic scholarship or not. So there you go, you throw the athlete thing in again. And they're going to come out of college without any college debt, which I'm super excited about. And I wanted to talk to you for a couple of reasons. First of all, you're super well networked, Alex, in your insurance business, and I know you know a lot of people, and I'd love you to know what I do. Just because, in our business, like in your business, you need people to know what you do. I need people to know what I do in my business. But secondly, there's some real synergy in our businesses, in our industry, and what we do. And I'd like to talk to you about some mutual benefits in potential business. So I'm not sure if it's going to be. No, I don't know if I'm not sure it's going to be your thing here, because you're not necessarily inviting him to join the business. You're talking about synergy initially. So you could say, so there's some synergy in our business, and it may be something that you want to run alongside what you currently do. So you could say that. So then when you say, listen, it may or may not be your thing, and that's perfectly fine, but it's going to get both of my kids through college. So I'm super excited about it, and there's definite synergies in our business. So what are you doing after work on? There's a Starbucks just around the corner. Let's get together 5, 6 o'clock and see if it makes sense, and see if there's something that we can work together on this. So it's similar to the other two, but it's slightly different. Does that feel like that would be the kind of right approach for Alex?
Yes, I couldn't type as fast as you spoke, so I'm so glad it's recorded.
No, and I am speaking super fast on the call today, because I did add a couple of things earlier on in the call, which I asked permission for, but obviously no one could talk to me, so everybody could have been screaming, "No, you don't have time," but I didn't hear it, so that's why I'm speaking fast, because I want to get through as many invites as I can. But as I say, it's going to be recorded. I can give you the number to get back on the call. I'm going to be posting it on Facebook tomorrow, but you need the call tonight to listen back to get those invites written down. But I think that's definitely the best way to approach Alex. So let's move on to another one. We're at 8:49 right now. Let's talk about Amy.
Yeah, so Amy is not local. She's in Colorado.
Okay.
And her background is as a recruiter. And so she's very well networked and influential. Okay.
Recruiter. Okay, I've got a question for you. I can see on your list here you gave her a 2 for city, for her location. Why did you give her a 2?
For the city?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I gave her a 1.
Yeah, she's got a 2 I can see on there. The only reason why I'm asking this is because...
after I sent it to you, it was supposed to be
okay.
a 1.
Okay. Yeah, because, when someone's in a state that is not deregulated, I'm not saying we're not going to invite them, we're not going to have them look at the business, but I don't know if I'd want them to be at the top of my list. It's just going to be a little harder to do it. And again, I'm not saying don't do it. Absolutely, we're going to have them look at the business. There are people in Ambit, there are millionaires in this business who are in other states that are not deregulated. Sean Cornett is in, I think he's in Missouri, and we're not deregulated there, and he's sitting there in a yellow jacket. So that would raise a little bit of a red flag for me. However, that's no reason not to invite her, and we're going to invite her anyway. And hey, she may be someone who is super, super resourceful. You gave her a 3 for resourcefulness, so let's give her the benefit of the doubt on this one. So how old is Amy?
Amy is upper 30s, lower 40s.
I'm going to say 40 then. Married, kids?
Divorced and has 2 kids.
How old are the kids?
Middle school, high school?
Wow, so single mom with kids in middle school.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I have the ultimate respect for you girls who are doing that. It's not easy to do it. You've got a full-time job and taking care of kids like that. Kudos to you girls. So you will have a lot of synergy with this girl just directly. She's a little older than you, but you're in a very similar situation. So let me ask you, I'm going to ask you, how would you approach this girl?
I would approach her to let her know what it is that I'm doing and to ask her, I think, to see if she knows anybody in Texas or one of the other states. Because I know that she has family in Texas and Oklahoma. So I would introduce her to the business by asking, who does she know? Who could she refer to help me? And if she sees the business, then... Okay.
Again, with her being in Colorado, that does put us at a little bit of a disadvantage because we're not deregulated there. So, if she was in New York, we're deregulated there. She's in another state, but we are deregulated there, so we can build a business there. So, I think I would go a little bit more direct than that, with a fallback of if she doesn't want to do it, she can refer you to people. I would go with let's have a look at this, and I would go on it. Hey, listen, we're sisters in life here, similar age, both kids in middle school, and I thought of you. So I would say, hey, Amy, Sydney here, I'm a little bit of a hurry right now. I got a lot going on. I've just got to go pick the kids up from school. I've got to get back into a meeting. But I wanted to give you a quick call because I was thinking of you this week. Do you have a couple of minutes? And she'll say yes. And you say, well, listen, like you, I'm a single mom, and I've got 2 kids in middle school, and I'm worried sick about them going to college and making sure that I can get them through college without any college debt. So we're talking, you're relating whys here, and then I would literally say, and I know you're going to have the same thing. So when you know their why and it's similar to yours, use both whys. So, I've got both my boys going into college next year, and in a couple of years, and I know you're going to have the same thing with your kids too. Couple of years behind me, and it's got to be a worry for you because we're both single mums, and we've got to get this done. And to solve the problem for me, I started a new business project recently, and it's going really, really well for me in the DFW area. And I know both the kids are going to get through college without debt. And if you want to add a little bit more sizzle, you could even say, and I'm actually going to be able to quit my job within 12 to 18 months. So it's going super, super well, and I wanted you to look at the business for a couple of reasons. First of all, I want to create. I want awareness. I want to any business needs to create awareness, and I'd love you to know what I'm doing. I know you know some people in the Texas area, and it'd be great for them to know what I'm doing too. But secondly, hey, listen, we're both single mums. We're a similar age. We've both got kids going into college, and I've found something that's going to really work for me. And I wouldn't be much of a friend if I didn't show you the same thing that I'm going to do because I know you're going to have the same problems. Listen, I don't know if it's going to be your thing, Amy, and that's perfectly fine. I completely get that. But what are you doing after work? Are you going to be by a computer when you get home tonight? Obviously, you can't meet her face-to-face at a Starbucks because she's in Colorado, but you can say, what time are you going to be home tonight where you can be by a computer? There's a visual presentation I want to show you. I use the words visual presentation and not a website because if I say website, she can come back to me and say, just send me the link and I'll look at it. And that's a big no-no. We do not send the link ahead of time because then we lose control over the call and we don't know when she's looking at it. Now, there is certain part of the application in the I think in the Ambit back office where you can see who's looked at the video and who hasn't, but I don't care. I still want to maintain control over that call. So I say, what time are you going to be home? I want to send a visual presentation to you because then they can't say send me the link to that because it's a visual presentation. They don't even know what that is. And then I would do it exactly the same way as I would, face-to-face, but I'm doing it via a video. She looks at the video. At the end of the video, you're going to give her a call and ask her, did it make sense? At that stage, and at the stage of with Courtney, Grace, Alex, and Amy, all of these people, whether they join or not is not the purpose of this call. The purpose of this call is to get the business in front of them so that they can make a decision that they want it or they don't. And so what we're doing with Amy is we're going to get her in front of a computer, but you're still going to make an appointment with her when she's going to do that. We're not throwing it out there saying, hey, watch it sometime. No, when are you going to be home by a computer? She says, probably about 6:30 after I've done this, that, and the other and got the kids fed. Great, I'll give you a call at 6:30 and I'll send you the visual presentation. See you then. Done. Make sense?
Yes. You're so brilliant. Thank you.
Oh, stop it. Keep going.
Right.
That's how I would deal with Amy. And for the call at the moment, that's what we're going to do on the call. We've still got Angela, Becca, Brandy, Chris, Daphne, Deborah, and Denise to do. And we're going to do invites for them on the accountability calls during the week. Because we're obviously now, I remember what I said, is we arrange our 10 calls and our 10 invites on Sunday. And then during the week, you're going to make a couple of invites. And then you're going to call me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in the evening to go through how the calls went. And I'm going to coach you on how, if they went well, if they went badly, if you lost your courage, if you were super excited, if you got talked too much, whatever happens, good, bad, indifferent, and ugly, we do that on the accountability call. And I record every one of those calls. And we'll do the invites for the other two. Maybe we'll do a couple of invites for Angela and Becca tomorrow. And I record those and put them up on Facebook. So for those of you who are listening on the call, you can listen to those calls as I post them up on Facebook and see actually how it went during the week. And for those of you who have people in your team who you want to be doing this purge system, you're going to be the accountability partner. So you can listen to how I deal with Sydney when she has a good day, a bad day, a good call, a bad call, or whatever it is. And it can teach you how to be a good accountability partner as well. So, Sydney, I'm going to say good night to you tonight. Thank you so much for getting on the call. I really appreciate it. It's not that nerve-wracking, really, is it? I do most of the work.
I know, it's great. Thank you for your help.
Hey, no problem at all. And after the call, you and I will text and we'll get a time when it's convenient for us to do the accountability call. But for everybody else, I'm going to let you go now, Sydney. Thank you very much. Stay on the call just for a little bit, but thank you, and I'll as I say, I'll speak to you a little bit. But for everybody else on the call, Michelle mentioned about the training that's happening on June 17th. I'm actually going to be in Alaska. I would usually be there as one of the trainers. But this year it clashes with a trip I'm doing to Alaska, so I'm not going to be there. But please, guys, if you're in the DFW area and within 2, 3, 4 hours of this training, please get there. We've got a guy flying in to the area. I can't say who it is because it's a big secret, but he is a top guy coming in to give us 2 or 3 hours of his own personal training. He has one of the biggest teams in the country. June 17th, absolutely get there. This is your business. This is your way out. This is the answer to firing your boss, getting rid of the debt, getting your time back with your kids, whatever it is. Get to that training meet. Be the best you can. June 17th. Thank you, Ryan. I don't know if I said something different, but June 17th. All the details I posted actually up on the Facebook page. And right after this call, we've got the national call with our number one income earner, Brian McClure. I'm going to get on that call. It's 9 o'clock right now. Bear Gordon will be introducing the call, so you have 30 seconds. Let me give you guys the number. It's 712-432-7570. Again, 712 432-7570. The PIN to get on the call is 848-77#. Again, 848-77#. As again, it's the number one incomer. This guy's making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in this business. You need to be listening into this guy. But I'm going to say goodnight. I'm going to unmute the call so you can say goodnight to Sydney. And I'll see you guys all during the week listening to the recorded calls. And on the call next Sunday, where we'll debrief the week and we'll go through how her week went. So, guys, thanks for getting on the call, and I'll see you guys all very soon.
Thanks, Richard.
No problem, guys.
Richard and Sid, that was great. Thanks very much.
Hey, no problem, Paul.
Thank you, Uncle Richard.
Thank you, Freighty kids.